To the Zohar class. Tonight, parasha is Nitzavim, is one of the last parasha of the Sefer Torah. It's always read before Rosh Hashanah, Nitzavim, in the meaning of standing in front of the Creator. Before Sibish Minyan Chabardor, you are like a jury duty, like they call you up, or like a subpoena in a court. You have to stand in front of the Hashem. So it says today, right before Rosh Hashanah, this is it. You're standing in front of Hashem, in front of this high court, the Creator. And the Kabbalists, they explain to us, like there's a certain people that they show up in a Kenisa only on Rosh Hashanah and Kippur, right? You know, there's like some kind of a biological time that they feel like they have to come. And the Torah emphasizes, it says everybody, during the Rosh Hashanah, everybody is standing in front of Hashem. The young, the old, the children, doesn't matter if you believe in it or you don't believe in it, Jews, non-Jews, even people that they passed on. You know, they're not in the physical world, they're standing in front of the Creator. So everybody's standing in front of the Creator. And this is the concept of Rosh Hashanah. So when we know we are going to be standing in front of the Creator, we're going to try to correct ourselves, right? We try to change our habits, change our character, change our addiction, change the Lashon Hara, or the negative consciousness we have. So it's not meant to be only once a year. It's not meant to be once a year. And the sentence in the Torah continues, says you're standing in front of Hashem and you're going to be alive. You're going to be alive. You're going to have Chaim. There's the word Chaim in the Torah. So what the Kabbalah is trying to explain to us, in reality, we taste life. We taste life only we feel we are standing in front of Hashem. When we are standing in front of Hashem, we are not worried. We don't have anxiety. We are cleansed. We've been cleansing ourselves for a month to stand in front of Hashem. You know, we get rid of all the bad habits and the bad characters. So in reality, we can taste life, or you can be alive only when you are Nitzavim, standing in front of Hashem. The Kabbalah says it doesn't have to be once a year. It can be every day. We can taste life every day by knowing that I'm standing in front of my Creator. Every morning, every man that put the tefillin, we feel like we're standing in front of the Creator. And the formula is, when you're standing in front of the Creator, you're not going to sin, right? You're not going to speak Lashon Hara. You're not going to have negative thoughts. And this is when you taste life. It's true that we read this portion once a year, but we have a chance every day, every morning, or every moment, if it's possible, to feel like we're standing in front of the Creator. And what does it mean? That He loves us, He takes care of us, there is a supervision, everything He gives us is good and blessing, everything He gives us is good for me, whatever the design is good for my growth. So this is where the life, Chaim, starts. It's an amazing formula that the Kabbalists even extended to love, Ahava. We talk about love so much. I love you and you love me, and we text love and love. The Kabbalists explain we can practice love only, we can practice the true love only when you're standing in front of Hashem. You know, if I have some, you know, deceiving, crazy idea and I tell somebody I love you, that's not the true love. So we can express love only when I know I'm standing in front of Hashem. It's standing in front of my Creator. So it's a beautiful lesson of how can we have a good life? How can we love and be loved when we feel like we are standing in front of Hashem? Standing in front of Hashem means no complaint, no judging, no anxiety, no stress, no thinking about what's going to happen in 10 years or why something happened to me 10 years ago. So standing in front of Hashem, it means like at that moment, you're alive. The negative forces have no influence on you. This is the true subject of the class today. The Kabbalah says after 120 years, when somebody's moving on to the next life, he thinks, oh, what I have done with my life, all the good, all the bad, right? You feel like you're standing in front of Hashem, so you're calculating all the good and bad. That calculation have to come on a daily basis. It's not once a year that we run into the Kenisa on Rosh Hashanah and Kippur. On an everyday basis, I'm standing in front of Hashem. We're all human. I made a mistake, but I'm going to fix it now. There is a beautiful sentence. It says, today is tomorrow's yesterday. It's a crazy sentence. It says, today is tomorrow's yesterday. So whatever I do today is going to affect tomorrow. So, I better act correctly today, so I want to have a better day tomorrow. Choose life, I'm standing in front of the Creator. When we are standing in front of the Creator, we are not going to say bad words, are we? We are not going to wish bad for anybody, are we? We are not going to judge anybody. We are not going to put down anybody. We are not going to, destroy somebody's character. So I know this portion comes once a year, but we have to practice that we're standing in front of Hashem every day. The practice is to know where we are. We get in this crazy life, we get lost. We have to keep reminding ourselves where we are. Hashem don't need us. We need Him. We need the Creator. So we have to practice, remind ourselves every day, every moment. I had this amazing conversation. One of the good friends was talking to some lady that had a health issues, and she's complaining and pain, and we know the story. I'm standing in front of Hashem. I see only goodness. I see only life. I see only love. I don't understand what you're telling me. Let's have a lunch together. Let's plan a vacation. How beautiful you are. What a beautiful day it is. Look at the birds are singing. My kids are doing this and my family is happy. I'm standing in front of Hashem. Instead of in front of Hashem, we don't talk about diseases and sickness. So it's a reminder, this parasha, how can I adapt this lifestyle that I'm standing in front of Hashem every day? There is a force, there is this negative forces that create a distance between us and the Creator. Yeah, of course, we want to stand in front of Hashem every moment of our life, but there is this negative forces that they create a distance. The negative forces, anxiety again, judging, confusion, stress. So it causes us to get distance from the Creator. So the Zohar come and help us how we can eliminate this distance. The Zohar talks about, we are going to Zohar book number 22, page 292, and we're going to start reading from the top English. So book number 22, page 292. It's talking about the Creator, Hashem, and between us and Hashem, there is this master angel called Metatron. And Metatron is the servant of Hashem, but Metatron is the king of all the angels, and he also our king. So obviously we cannot connect to the creator directly. We have to connect through Metatron. It's a king of the angels, a king of all humanity. And this Metatron has control over all the negative forces, all the negative angels. And these sections all talk about it. This section, the Zohar, gives another name to Metatron. The name is Shaddai, the same letters on the mezuzah that we have, Shaddai, Shin, Dalet, Yud. Shaddai, in Hebrew, we emphasize on the Dalet, Shaddai. In reality, there is two Dalets over there. So if you open the word, it says Shed, Die. That means stop to the negative forces. That's why we have mezuzah at the entrance. Shaddai means stop to the negative energies, negative words, negative eye, negative mind, negative speak, negative heart. So the Zohar in this section is explaining to us, you want to have access to Metatron, you want to have access to the creator, so you have to practice Shaddai, stop to the negative forces. So the moment I realize I'm talking negative and I stop it, then, I have a chance to connect to Metatron. The moment I have a bad eye, I'm seeing things in a wrong way. I say, you know what, stop it. This is not right. I connect to Metatron. The moment, I start thinking about so many negative things going in the world, the moment I say stop, Shaddai, die, stop to it, then I can have a chance to connect to Metatron. When we were kids and not mature, we let the negative conversations run for hours, right? We have a negative conversation, 1 minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 1 hour, half a day, the whole day we talk negative. Same thing with negative consciousness. If we let it run, it runs nonstop. So the Zohar gives us this tool. It says, stop it. Shaddai, you have to stop. I know sometimes it's come to us and we are reactive beings, so we see something right away, we have to start talking about it. But the lesson is to stop it. The moment we realize we are in an off-road, we are not standing in front of Hashem, we have to stop it. And this is how we connect to Metatron. Metatron, king of angels, has the power of healing, success, soulmates, beracha, goodness, joy, happiness, everything. He has it in his hands. So in order for us to connect to Metatron is by saying stop to what I'm doing, the wrong thing I'm doing. Again, I repeat myself, we're all human, and we can start a negative conversation. We have to learn to stop it. Talking negative about somebody, stop it. The news, the business, the relationship, whatever conversation starts that is negative, you have to stop it. The moment we stop, we're connecting to Metatron. So let's read the English part on page 292 on the top. We are told about Rosh Hashanah and the meaning of the knot of the hand tefillin. Rabbi Shimon addresses Metatron, calling him a servant to the master, and yet a king over all other people and over all the angels. He says that the sound of a prayer and the sounds of the shofar are like spears stabbing and killing the evil inclination. So again, this section was telling us that Metatron is the master of all angels. Now we're going to go down to section number 137, and we're going to read it in the Aramaic with this kavanah, with this consciousness, that from today I'm going to remember this class. Anytime I start a negative thought, negative conversation, negative negative, if I hear something negative, I have to say stop to it, Shaddai. And that's how connect us to Hashem and the Matatron. So we are in section number 137. Matatron, Zaka Anat, Zakain Banach, Dainan Keshirin Akirin Betefilin Tachad Rishuta de Ma'arach, Ubegad Ag, דאגתה עבד למערך, מלכה אנט על כל מנן דשאר אמין, אני אמין, מלכה על כל מלאכים, מלכה דשדים, ובכל משרתיה, דחילין מינק, מיען גרים דה בגין דענתה שרפף למערך, ואנט משמש למערך, שדאית דמזוזה, לבר שומר הפתח, י' ד' ו' ד' דהיהו מערך מלגהו. Matatron, blessed are you and blessed are your children, namely those drive from Matatron, who have not yet merited to be children to male and female of Atzilut, who are bonded and tied by the tefillin under your master authority. For that reason, though you are a servant to your master and you are a king over all the ministers of all the people, kings, over all the angels, a king of whom all demons and their legions are afraid. I repeat that. You are a king over all the ministers of the other people, king over all the angels. It's talking about Matatron, a king of whom all demons and their legions are afraid. Negative force are afraid of Matatron. Who brought that about? Your being a stool of your master feet. You serve your master as Shaddai of the mezuzah. You serve your master as Shaddai of the mezuzah from outside, guarding the entrance. Yud Hey Vav Hey, who is your master, is inside, and Shaddai, who is the aspect of Matatron, is outside. It says that we have the Hashem, the aspect of Hashem within us, Yud Hey Vav Hey, the source of all the blessing and beracha and healing and health and all the goodness. What is the problem? We let these negative forces to come in. If we're going to stop the negative forces, like the mezuzah stop the negative forces, if I stop negative conversation, if I stop negative consciousness, if I stop negative people, if I'm not listening to negative things, I'm protecting my body like the way mezuzah protecting our house. It's amazing. Let's read the next section, is very good too. So we are in 138. I like to read the Zohar. We are not reading a book. This is Aramaic. This is the language of the angels. We bring so much blessing, so much bracha to our house and life by pronouncing these Aramaic words. So we are in 138. V'achi ayehu kad kedusha b'richu nachit l'shlita לשלטאה על עץ הדעת טוב ורע, דהיהו טוב מטטרון, רע סם, שד, מלכה דשדים, מטטרון מלאך, מלכה דמלאכים, אבל מסתרא דאילנה דחיי שדי, היהו יסוד, ובגין כך למטה שניים אבל לרבו, דלאו אינן ייחודה חרב ולמעלה, אחד, תפארת יסוד דגוף וברית חשבונה חד דהיהו עמודה, דאמצעיתה וצדיק. It is so that Matatron is Shaddai. When the Holy One, blessed be He, descended to Bina to rule over the tree of knowledge of good and evil, good beings, Matatron, and evil, Sam, who is the devil, the king of demons. Matatron is an angel, the king of angels, but from the aspect of the tree of life. The name Shaddai is Yesod of Atzilut. This is why below and Bria there are two, a servant and his master. The servant is Shaddai outside, and the master is Yud He Vav He inside. And they are not unified into one. And above is Atzilut, Tiferet, and Yesod, and one is considered, that's good enough so far. So it's an amazing lesson you're learning. He says, if I learned the same way the mezuzah protect our house, and the word Shaddai is on it, how can I protect my body? How can I protect my life? Is by saying stop to negative forces. Anything negative, anything bad. Now we're going to go forward with the lesson. One of the main causes for having negative conversation, negative consciousness, the reason we lose sleep, one of the reasons we don't feel good all day is when there is conflict between people, when there is an argument, when there is fight, there is conflict, there is a negative conversation. So tonight we learn that I have to say stop to negative forces to come in. So what do I do with all this conflict and arguments that we have with family members, maybe co-workers, whoever we run into, friends, family? So there is a Kabbalistic way to approach conflict between couples, between friends, between people we live with, families. You know, we are humans, we need contact with other humans, but there is always a conflict or a fight aroused from having a relationship. And the Kabbalists know that this is the source of negative energy that can enter to our life and our body. So tonight we're going to learn how to approach arguments, in a Kabbalistic way. First of all, there is 5 points, and we're gonna get there soon. It says, if you're looking for a perfect relationship with no complication or conflict or argument, such a thing doesn't exist. There is no such a thing as a relationship free of conflict. And there is a design by Hashem, because conflict is supposed to make us grow, to become a better person, evolve to a smarter person. So by design, there is no such a thing as a perfect relationship with no argument. And we're going to learn that actually conflict and argument is by design, and it's necessary. It's necessary in order for us to be stronger and have a stronger relationship and have a stronger bond with each other. So tonight we're going to learn that conflict, it's not only bad, it's actually good for us, because we grow, we become stronger, and our connection becomes stronger. If I'm arguing with you, we are supposed to become closer to each other. We are supposed to be more caring about each other. But obviously the ego wants to get involved, and not once, for sure gets involved and create a distance. So argument and conflict by design is good for us, is good for our healthy growth, and it's make us to become stronger and evolve to better people. So the story is, at the beginning, way at the time of the creation, we were born back to back. I don't want to use the word man and woman because it's going to confuse us, but we were back to back to our challenges, to our dinim, judgments. And I'm going to explain. And then Hashem says there is no growth in it, so he separates us and make us face to face with our challenges, with our dinim, with our judgments. Let me give you an example. We all have children, and when our children are small, we want to 100% protect them, right? Don't fall, don't touch this, don't say these things, don't talk to that guy, don't ride a bicycle, this, that. We're trying to protect our children and put them in a bubble. There is no growth in that. They're never going to be growing. They're never going to be strong. They're never going to learn anything when they're in a bubble. If we try to protect them so they don't face their challenges, they don't face their judgments, they're never going to grow. They're going to stay childish forever. Until the children don't fall, they don't learn how to walk right and even run. So if you protect your children not to fall, they're never going to learn how to walk. So at the beginning, the Creator loved us so much, He protected us and He hid all the judgment from us. Yeah. So we had a life with no judgment. We didn't have to deal with anything, with any issues. And then, He saw that there is no growth in it. So He came and He put our challenges in front of us. That's how we're going to grow. So whatever challenges we have in our life, it's our dinim, it's our judgment, that instead of running away from it, we have to deal with them. And it's good for our growth. So if you have a health issue, if there is a challenge in business, if there is a challenge in relationship, if there is strange people in our life that they constantly bug us, or whatever it is in our life is our personal challenges that Hashem put in front of us for us to be able to grow and become stronger. Did you understand this point? Is it understandable? So at the beginning, Hashem hide all our challenges. That's why we were in heaven. We didn't have to do anything. But there is no growth in that. If you put your child in a bubble, they're never going to grow. You have to send your children to the street, to the school. You have to put them out there, deal with life in order for them to grow. So the Creator, instead of hiding the challenges, He's put us in front of us. And it could be as our soulmates, as our neighbors, and our job. Everything in our life represents our dinim, our judgments. By facing it, by dealing with it, we're going to grow, we're going to become stronger. There is a beautiful word, sentence in English, it says, face your fears, face your challenges. So we were talking about arguments. Now we realize that the arguments are good for us. The arguments is for our growth. There was a time that the Creator hid the argument from us, but we were like potatoes, If you don't argue with anybody, how are you going to learn? How are you going to grow? So everything in our life is by design in order for us to become stronger, we could grow. We don't want to stay that little baby that's crying and, immature. Every challenge, every argument is by design for us in order to grow. Now we're going to learn the 5 points how we can deal with arguments and fights and conflicts in order to do it in the right way. It says, don't be afraid of disagreements. They are often a sign of healthy relationship. It says, argument and conflict is a sign of a healthy relationship. Why? Because Hashem make a design for us. You remember 2 minutes ago? If I go with Hashem's program, that means it's good for me. If I avoid Hashem's program, that means, I'm stuck. There is no growth. So it says we are changing, we are supposed to change. We're not supposed to be the same person of last year and the years before. So while we are changing, it creates conflict. It creates a confrontation. So we have to realize our partners, our friends, our family members, they're constantly changing. So instead of arguing with them, understand that they're changing, and I have to change myself too in order to have a healthy relationship. It says if we never argue, if we don't have a conflict, something's wrong with the system. Something, it says something funny sentence. It says they're both completely checked out. And they're not able to have a good conversation. So we are learning that argument is healthy, and we are not talking about yelling and screaming. We have to have a house rules for argument. Sometimes people go to a restaurant in a public, so it doesn't get out of control. Maybe you can have a rule that I argue for 2 minutes. Maybe we keep it, in one subject, because when we start arguing, all of a sudden we remember the mothers and fathers and grandparents of each other. So we have to keep it in one subject. But the number one is that if there is an argument, that means this is a healthy relationship. I know it's the opposite of a common sense, but everything is Kabbalized backward, because we're supposed to grow, we're supposed to evolve, we are supposed to have more wisdom and understanding and knowledge. And argument is healthy for that. Number two, it says approaching a conflicts by knowing that the relationship going to become even stronger. So sometimes, chas v'shalom, we start the argument, maybe it's going to end up with big fight and disconnection and b'zabun farsi qari. No, if I'm going to start the argument, it's going to be for only the purpose of making the relationship stronger, not chas v'shalom, worsening the relationship. I know when we have a healthy argument, it's going to make our bond deeper, make our connection stronger. I start the confirmation, the argument, by this consciousness that we're going to get closer to each other. We're going to get closer to each other, not chas v'shalom getting further from each other. And the Kabbalists take it even further. He says, initiate the argument, because maybe you're never going to have a next chance to learn something out of that subject. Number three is, in the argument, be open. Be open. You have to open your heart. You have to open your heart. I know we feel vulnerable and we feel weak when we open our heart, but that's not true. When you open your heart, that's how the relationship gets closer and stronger to each other. If you're hiding behind something, this argument, this conflict is not going to benefit you. When you open your heart in a conflict or in an argument, that's going to be the cause for a stronger relationship. Sometimes, we want to hide our flaws. We want to hide from our friends or partner. And that's not going to lead the conflict to a good place. By opening our heart is actually make the conflict more constructive. Number four, he says, try to find your partner's real intent behind their words. We can say so many stupid things. We shouldn't take the words as a face value. When there is a conflict, when there is an argument, don't depend on the face value of the words. Try to see the true person behind it. See their heart, see their neshama, see their intention. Sometimes we are like parrots. We hear a word, so we keep repeating it. That doesn't mean that person means that word. So we need to read the mind of that person we are arguing with, not only their words. Most of the time we are blind. We are blind to other person's feelings and hurts and issues. We just care about our side of the argument. But we should see the story behind the story. Why this person acted in a certain way, or who this person is, or why this person is acting this way. So we don't want to be shallow and just read the words or read the action. Try to see the real neshama, the real intent of the person. The fifth one, which is the most important one, it says after the argument, take time to repair. Take time to repair. So it says Kabbalistic argument is not about winning, it's about learning. So, average person have an argument in order to win. But as a Kabbalah student, no, we argue in order to learn. So we have to find it, make the time to repair if we damage or we hurt someone. If we don't repair the argument, it's going to be like an open wound that's always going to be painful. It's always going to hurt, and it's always going to come back. So we have an argument, but then we repair it. So just to finalize this section, a healthy, good relationship comes with argument. In order to build it stronger, in order to nurture it, we have to go through some arguments, some conflicts. And we learn the 5 steps, and we're going to repeat it. And with this, we're going to end the class. So the 5 points of healthy argument or conflict is, don't be afraid of conflict and disagreement. It's a sign for healthy relationship. Number 2 is, I'm approaching this conflict in order for me and the other person to be stronger, smarter, healthier, happier, and more successful. We are not here to damage and hurt and, God forbid, create separation. Number 3 was, you have to open your heart. A good, positive, constructive argument is when you open your heart. You show your weakness, you show what you need, you show your lacks, you show your flaws, and then the argument gonna lead to a successful process. If we hide all those feelings, so the argument was for nothing. Only the ego was arguing, not you. Number 4 is, try to find the real intention behind somebody's words. Maybe they're hurt, maybe they had a bad day, maybe they have a pain, so it's not the words, it's you have to find the real intention. And the last one, after argument, we must make the time to repair. So if you leave any open wounds, the open wound can last for many lifetimes, not only this lifetime. So with this, we're going to end the class. I wish you guys Shabbat Shalom, Shana Tova, Chag Sameach. In 3 days we have Rosh Hashanah, and then Yom Kippur and Sukkot. I'm wishing for healthy, happy, successful, a good soulmate for all the young people, and the knowledge of the Torah and the Zohar. We are such a zuchud, we have this access to this knowledge and wisdom. And this knowledge and wisdom going to lead us to successful, wonderful, good coming year. Thank you very much. Toda rabba. Shabbat Shalom. Chag Sameach.